All right, welcome back. In this video, we are going to work a little bit more on our uniform controls. In the last video, we kind of implemented the first steps. We can now set floating point values. We also want to support other types such as integer. So let's try to do that now. And let's start here in the shader code. And in particular, we want to match on the U type. And if it's a uniform type float, then we're going to do this. And maybe we don't need that. If it's an integer, we're going to do something else. And we'll see if we can format it correctly. We need a comma. Okay. So we have this. Here, if it's an integer, we should not call this one uniform float 32. We should call I32. Let's call it I32, and we need to give it not a floating point number but an integer. So we should maybe let's floor it and then convert it to an I32 like that. All right. So that handles setting the actual value in the shader, but also selecting the value in the UI. We want to do something there. So where do we have the buttons? We have the buttons for the controls here. And if here we have the sliders. Didn't we do something with smart aim? I feel like that was only here, not here. Okay. Maybe we should remove it here as well. But anyway, if we have an integer, we kind of want these values. Well, let's not do it like that. Let's say, let's actually do it like this. So we have a slider widget, which is based on the type. It's going to be different things. Actually, maybe here I will just pop that one in, and if it's an integer, say is it do, and like that, semicolon, and here we add slider itself. So I think that was correct. Let's format it so it looks more sane. Okay, and if it's a float, we don't really want smart aim, so I think that's correct. But maybe we do want smart aim if it is an integer. And we probably want to do something like this. Let's floor and maybe seal this one. We need to keep them as floats because the underlying value is represented as a float. And let's say we do want this one. Do we have anything else? Clamping. But if you want to have a slider for picking integer values in a slider, let's try this. Maybe then we don't really want the smart aim anyway. Let's go ahead and try that. And there we go. So let's add a control. We're going to say it's a float. Sorry, an int. It's going to be an int test. And maybe it will go like this. So now it can be between 0 and 31. And that's great. All right. I think that was pretty easy. Maybe let's try to see if it actually works. And let's close it again. Open like a little subterminal here. And do this kind of layout. So let's add a a test value, whatever. And what should we do with that test value? Maybe we will put it here, test value divided by 255. And I guess that's fine. So let's add a uniform control test value like that. And nothing seems to be happening. Right. So there is some kind of error. Failed to compile fragment, syntax error, expected identifier, expecting a token test value. So is it not like this? Is it just int? Yeah, okay, that seems like it was the case. And great. Okay. Now it would be nice if we could also remove these things. So is there some kind of something like this? We can reserve things, swap, remove, rotate left, rotate right. Okay, let us try something. What are we gonna... So we need some way to remove things if we, like, basically we want like a button like this, and to do remove this control like that. Maybe I want this to be actually a horizontal layout. But anyway, we need this button so that we can remove the controls. Maybe we also want to be able to edit them at some point. But anyway, let's put this one into a horizontal. We have the close button, and now the problem is we need to kind of save. We need to, if the button is clicked, we need to remember that we want to remove that. And probably you're only going to remove one per frame. So let's say we have a remove index, and it's going to be none. And if we click something, then we're going to say remove index is actually it's actually going to be the index, which we don't have right now, but we can add it. And now let's say it's a mutable enumerate. Okay, so, and then we can say if we actually have an index in the remove index, then we can say self uniform controls remove that index. I think that's pretty good. Let's try to run it. So it's quite big. Maybe I should make it larger. By default, the screen. Okay, but that worked. Let's actually do that. Let's make it 12. Maybe 800 is fine, but this. Okay, great. I think I kind of want to make this region square now that I think about it, because unless you are specifically doing something weird, like the area that the shader is working on is a square. So with that in mind, let us go here. And what's the size we actually want? So let's say actual size, it's going to be the vector 2 that is has the same value, and it's going to be available size X, but min with Y. Like that. And then we'll have actual size. So let's see how that looks. Great. So now it's square, and we might even have too much space on the side now. Whatever. So we can get this, we can remove it, and we can apply and stuff. Okay. So that's pretty good. Let's actually do one more thing. I think in this video, let's add better error reporting. So let's see how it actually kind of works now. Not cargo test. Keep accidentally writing cargo test. Okay. So now we have some kind of shader running, but and we can reload it and stuff, but what if we have a compilation error? For example, suppose we do this by accident. What's going to happen? We don't really see anything happening. If we look here, we have the error reported in the console, but that's not very nice. We'd kind of want it reported in the user interface. So let's go ahead and implement that. And luckily we have this report function, and I've tried to use that everywhere where there could be an error. So we will simply hook that up to some error message. So we can get error message. And in principle, I guess we could make an option. It would kind of make sense. But it would be a little bit annoying that we'd have to like allocate a new string every time we get a new error message. Maybe we want to clear it sometimes so we don't see anything, see an error message. So that's actually interesting. We need to clear it at some point. So let's make it a string. Let's make it a string. Error message is a new string. And then in the UI, we have some stuff. We have the main layout, I guess. Well, here we have the buttons, add uniform control, add shader, a reload shader. So let's here put the error message box. And it's a little bit difficult to find my way around this, so maybe we want to refactor it, but let's do that another time. Okay, so what do we have? We have anything with text. Maybe it's just a label. We can just put a label. So let's say if self error message length is not 0, then we want to put a label with the error message. It says this is clearer. I'm not sure, but okay. So if it's not empty, then we'll do some stuff. Let's see if it works. Let's see if it works. So we have to go ahead and make a compilation error like that. And of course, I forgot the crucial part, which was in the report function, we actually have to say self.error message is message to string. That. And it's just immutable. And temporary with access to the immutable borrower is created here. And then we have a problem here. Okay, so let's say load result. Maybe we can get around it like this. All right. Let's try to run it again. And we have the same problem here. So we can say let load result equal that thing. And then we match the load result. Omit it and go. Another error. And it is for control in self-state uniform controls. Yeah, that's another thing. Can I just borrow it immutably? Will that make any difference? Well, okay, then you have a double borrow. Ah, this is annoying. This is annoying. Can we actually do something like this? Let message equal this, and then we will break with a message. You can't break with a value in a for loop. Okay, but is there another way I can do it? Can only break with a value inside a loop or breakable. Okay. So we can't do that. What we're gonna do, we going to do, because it's the loop itself that is the problem. I really don't want to just allocate a new string. So maybe we can use this index trick again. So error index is none, and if we get an error, we say actually here we have an error. We want to iterate and enumerate. And then we can even break. We'll just report the first error. And we'll say if let some index equals error index. Then we are going to report self-uniform controls at that index and the message. No, there's no message. The message is coming from here, so that doesn't work. Damn. Okay. Can I do this then? Can I say, okay, just do that. Error message. And I accidentally did something wrong here, so control in, like that. Okay. So we have a message, error message, then here we can do that. And this is a string, okay. So this one is actually creating a string. Is that something that we are doing? No, actually we have no error handling here. So I do kind of want to do that. So let's say if uniform location is none, return an error that says uniform with some name could not be found. Like that. Okay, let's try now. Okay, let's start with, okay, I started it in the wrong way. We need to start it from here in the subterminal. Then let's try. Okay, so I make a compilation error and we actually get a message here. Failed to compile fragment shader, syntax error expected, expecting : token. It's not really reporting it in a very useful way. Is it line 13? It's line 12. Add an extra argument. And what if I do something here? It is not reporting where it is. It's reporting some numbers, but they have nothing to do with where it actually is. And we're saying failed to compile fragment shader. Compile fragment shader. Get info log. It's not really get shader info log, get program info log. Shader source. Okay, I guess that is the best that we're gonna get right now. I don't want to spend too much time on it. Let's make it a little bit nicer. Filter error message. Okay, so we can add rich text, I think, like this. Yes, exactly. So we can make it a little bit larger. So we can say GUI rich text, new listing, and let's make it slightly larger. Font ID proportional, fine. Let's make it size 20. And let's also add a heading. Maybe, is there like a separator? How does that work? There is a separator. And we can add a heading that says error message. And let's try to restart it. Great. Let's make a compilation error. Like that. Now we have error message down here. It's a little bit annoying. So now I want to have it like a vertical shape. So let's make it 600, something like that. Great, it's time for the compilation error. Error message. Failed to compile the fragment shader. Blah, blah. It's a bit too large, isn't it? So let's make it slightly smaller. Try again. Yeah, so it has to compile initially because the way we made it right now. That's a bit annoying. All right, let's recreate it. Okay, that's a little bit better. Slightly better. And great. Great. Okay, but let's say we fix it now. We fix the error. Nothing happens, and we can even like see that okay, it has actually updated, but it still is reporting the error message. So what we need to do is clear the error message whenever we successfully reload something. So a hot reload function, it checks for the metadata, blah blah blah. And okay, so here if we successfully load, then we're actually going to say self.error message clear. Okay, let's see if that works. Okay, compilation error. It says, oh, there's an error. Fix it. Fixed. All right, that's pretty nice, I think. What do we need to do next? You can already do a lot with this. I think it's nice if you can kind of make a project. So for example, like I'm working on this, but let's say I'm working on this particular shader or whatever. I don't want to every time I start up the program do this kind of thing. Like, okay, I have to add this one, I have to add the red value. I want the program to just remember somehow. And maybe, I don't know how to do that, but maybe it would be nice if you can like drag here, because now we cannot really see the close button. You know what I mean? Right, so we can do like this. So that's a bit annoying. So maybe it will also be nice to be able to choose how much space is allocated for the shader canvas, but I don't really actually know how to do that right now. Anyway, it would be nice, I think that's the next thing, if we can remember these things that we have, these controls we have added, and also which file we're using. So maybe the next thing we're going to do is to open a file dialog and use that to select the shader. And then when we have that, we can think of some way to store like the current state of a project. Let's call it a project. That's for the next video. So until then, bye bye.